Good morning. I was thinking about the weather myself as I came in. I had a rear-end accident last year when I was speaking, so on the way here. And so I saw the ice forming last night, and I was thinking, oh, is this a repeat of what we had last year? Unfortunately, Mike Kloos could not be with us today, and so I am standing again this year. So those of you that don't know me, I'm Roger Snyder. I am manager of the Pacific Northwest Site Office for the Department of Energy, the Office of Science, which is a little different than the environmental side of the house that manages the other two-thirds. Our job here is to oversee the contract with Battelle and ensure the safety of the public and steward the resources of the lab. We work with Battelle to meet its full potential. Together with partnership with Battelle itself, we focus on the common goals and the common outcomes that we hope for PNNL. Let's see here. As most of you know, PNNL has been part of this community for nearly 50 years. We're a billion-dollar enterprise, making the lab the largest private employer in Eastern Washington. And over the years, PNNL has made countless scientific contributions that affect our daily lives. As we speak, nearly 4,500 staff and scientists are working to make our country and our community energy independent, secure, and economically prosperous. As a point of fact, about 90% of the PNNL staff work here in the Tri-Cities. Despite this, it's not uncommon to run into people here locally that do not know what we do or confuse us with Hanford, which is ironic since today about 5% of our work is associated with the Hanford site. If I can offer a bit more context on that, PNNL itself is one of the most diverse workforce and most diverse national labs that we have. Last year alone, researchers from 18 countries and across the nation came to the Tri-Cities to further their research in our facilities. Hundreds of companies, local, national, and even international, can trace their roots to PNNL and its innovations. And our staff is just as diverse, coming from around the globe and across the nation to settle here in the Tri-Cities. Last year, we executed work in 114 countries, underpinning the local airport. As a science lab reporting to the Office of Science, you'd expect science is at the core of what we do. Science underpins our pursuits and our solutions, defining new uses and applications, which in turn drives the need for more discovery. We've gone from solely supporting missions of Hanford and plutonium production to where we are today, as an entity unto ourselves with a diverse customer base, as diverse as our capabilities. It's for reasons like these that we have been able to adapt throughout our history. Now we find ourselves in an innovation economy, a strong demand for the national labs across the nation to support, an economy where knowledge, technology, and entrepreneurship are the very center of our growth. But before we look forward, let's look back. A lot has happened since I stood before you last year. We made a big splash in smart and secure grid research, working with UW and many others, taking us forward and ensuring the reliability and security of our electric infrastructure. There was big discoveries in energy efficiency and energy storage, and we won a hub with Argonne National Lab to do further the energy battery and energy storage activities. Our research into carbon capture looks to be key in developing solutions in the global climate change. PNNL medical research in spectrometry is allowing more accurate medical testing and diagnostics. And some of our ongoing drug research is aimed at tackling one of the deadliest and most aggressive forms of cancer. And we improved our air quality for our servicemen and women working in submarines. That's just a small sample of the activities that we came out of last year's activities. Back at home, we value safety and security as much as the innovation that we do. We want to protect the people that come each day to do the work, and we want to send them home in the same condition. In spite of many challenges of work and others, it was one of our safest years, with continued emphasis on both safety and security in everything we do. DOE recognized PNNL again as a star-level institution, denoting it as one of the safest in the complex. We signed a 5-year extension with Battelle, assuring management stability for the site and the workforce. And in our community, our commitment to Delta High continues. We're already seeing rewards from that relationship, and we're proud of the accomplishments of Delta High as much as we are in engagement in all our schools throughout the region. In terms of budgets, Government speak is flat is the new up. We no longer talk as much about what we can do with extra. We talk about what we need to secure what we have. And so we want to go through more and more drills about the impacts of various budget levels. Truly, the ARA work is behind us. While seeing only a net aggregate decrease from 11 to 12, decreases in Hanford support and subsurface science were offset by other areas such as national security. Unfortunately, these changes did affect our staff. In total, we said goodbye to about 428 staff last year, about half due to realigning and restructuring the lab for the future. On the positive side, this allowed us to bring in about 185 new workers to the lab, reducing that impact to the community. Federal budget uncertainties, and of course the specter of the last recession still haunts this economy. The uncertainty about where our budget is going, spending cuts, has really put our customers on edge, which is more of an impact for a very diverse enterprise. Customers slow their spending, they slow their requests for funding, they give us uncertainty in terms of where they're headed. So this has a ripple effect through our activity. And even with a budget approved at some point in time, it's a delayed impact to us as customers rebalance their portfolios. So there is no guarantee that the road ahead will not be difficult. But it is promising to know that we've been able to weather many storms over the course of years by being such a diverse enterprise. So what can you expect? Our best guess is that you'll see a slight drift downward over time. So it's flat to a slight drift for our budget. But flat is the new up, and we're looking for new ways to save money, to innovate, et cetera. And so we'd expect that that would be a fairly flat workforce. I expect that you will see many new discoveries, just like you did this last year, many patents issued. Hopefully these new technologies will find their ways into the market. Hopefully in the local community we'll find enterprises that will expand on the lab's work. Back at home, part of agility is through capacity and capability. It's not enough to have the right workforce. It's not enough to have the right budget. You have to have a place to do the work. So key to us is looking forward to what that next generation is going to need in our facilities and our capabilities. So this year, we have embarked on a new initiative to think about our campus for the next decade, to look at what we need in capabilities for the workforce to be the next generation of innovation, to plug into the community and what it needs from us in terms to spur that development. It's less about looking back at where we have come and more looking forward to the nation. So if I'm a bit vague, it's somewhat intentional because there are so many variables. But our sectors are stable across where we see from 11 to 12 to now 13. And so we expect it, at this point, everything looks fairly flat. We're just waiting with somewhat holding our breath to see what the budget processes hold. With that said, I will close and thank you.